my name is Jamie Delane Watson. Thank you so much for joining me today. So now that my wedding photography season is slowing down, I'm really excited about a new project on my YouTube channel that I've been wanting to do for a while. And it's creating a mini video series about how I capture every single part of the wedding day, from brides getting ready all the way to the first dance and the opening dancing part of the evening. So today I'm going to start with the brides getting ready photos and some of my thought processes while I'm shooting and the lenses I use for different situations. So let's get started. So when I arrive at the bride's getting ready location, whether that's at her parents' home, her home, or a hotel suite, the first thing I'm doing is walking in, putting my bag to the side, and saying hello to the bride. And so if she's in the makeup chair, I'll usually just go in front and be like, hey, happy wedding day. If she's walking around, of course, I'll give her a big hug and say happy wedding day. Then my next task is meeting everyone in the room. So I'm making sure that I'm making everybody feel valued and like I have time for them. I'm not just rushing into the room being like, okay, do this, do this, do this. I'm really making sure that I connect with everybody, at least for just a few moments. And of course, I don't necessarily remember all 10 names in the room, but I really try my best and hopefully a couple of them stick and then I can use those names throughout the wedding day. The next thing I have to analyze is where are we in the progress of the preparation? So hair and makeup. Is the bride halfway through hair and makeup? Is she totally done hair and makeup and just waiting to get into the dress? And so once I know those two details, I can analyze what comes first, the detail shots of the dress and shoes and accessories, or should I jump in right away and do some hair and makeup shots? So say the bride is halfway through hair and makeup. She's still like getting eyeshadow on, like foundation, that kind of stuff. Like perfect. I definitely have some time before I need to capture those images. So what I'll do is I'll ask the maid of honor where the bride's dress is and some of her accessories. I really like to not bother the bride and just let her have her morning. And so I'll usually touch base with the maid of honor, one of the bridesmaids, the mom, that sort of thing. Often my brides will like jump up and be like, oh, let me get that for you. I know where it all is. And that's fine if they want to be involved, of course. But I just want to make sure that I'm not interrupting their morning. So once I know where the dress is, I'm looking for an appropriate place to hang it that has really nice lighting. So I'm looking for anything near big open windows, a really bright room, maybe with a light wall color. So in a hotel, for example, which I would say the majority of my getting ready photos are in a hotel, it's usually just the windows in the main hotel bedroom. And so I'll hang it either like on the windowsill. Sometimes I need to hang it actually like on the curtain rod. It really depends on what we're working with. And so I'll get the dress all prepped. I'm also looking for a wooden hanger. This is just a really like easy detail, but sometimes the dress comes with like an ugly plastic hanger and you have this beautiful dress worth thousands of dollars sometimes and it's on like a 50-cent hanger. So if you can find a wooden hanger, which will often be, especially if it's a hotel, it'll be in one of the closets, just kind of search around. I've even had one of the bridesmaids be like, my dress came on a wooden hanger, and so we switched them out. So just do that little bit of extra work and it really pays off for that photograph. So after I photographed the dress, I'm now moving on to shoes, rings, any jewelry, flowers if they're there, garter, basically any details, even the clutch the bride is having for the wedding day. Any details she has, I just ask for anything and ask for it to be laid out on the bed ahead of time. And if that doesn't happen, that's okay. I can go collect it from different parts of the room. So then I'm focusing on the details. So I usually do my dress shot with a 35 lens or a 50 lens. For details, I'm using my 50 lens as well as the 100mm macro lens for those up close. So of the rings, the engagement ring, if I have all three rings together. So I'm switching between the 50 and the 100 for those detail shots. As I'm photographing details, I'm making sure that I'm keeping like one eye and one ear on that other room where the bride and all the bridesmaids are. If there's this moment that happens where everybody's laughing or there's something going on, I can kind of tell. I make sure to just leave what I'm doing and go into the other room and with my 50mm lens, take a few photos of, oh, okay, laughter, things happening, champagne popping, perfect, and then I'm back over to this room. While I'm shooting in a wedding, I never want to be so singularly focused on what I'm doing that I'm missing other things. So it's really what we're balancing the whole time on an 8 to 12 hour wedding day. This is what I'm doing right now, but what's happening over here and being aware of that so I can make the best decision in that moment. What should I be capturing? So I'm balancing that. I'll go take a few candid photos, come back to the detail shots. Once the detail shots are done, I'll check back in with the bride and see, oh, okay, the mascara is being applied right now. Perfect. This is a great shot to get because her whole makeup's done. It's really flattering, but there's just a few final detail shots. That's great. be photographing a bunch of those shots, usually with a 50mm, sometimes with a 35 so I can get more of the environment in, the bridesmaids watching, that sort of thing. So once that's done, the next step is finding the best spot for the bride to get into her dress. So it is really important that this area be clutter-free. If you look at a magazine or any like fashion ads, you won't have this beautiful hotel room with like bottles of water and purses and tote bags on the ground. It just doesn't happen. So I think in the beginning of my photography business, I really struggled with, I didn't want to offend people. I didn't want to change the environment too much. And so I would just hesitate to clean areas up and try to work like around it. And I just realized that's silly. People hired you to create beautiful photos and they're not thinking about it. They're just like getting ready for the morning. They're not thinking about the tote bag in the corner. So I'm kind of really aware of that now. So I will just clear things. I'll hide it behind beds. I just kind of go for it. Sometimes you can kind of read the feel of the room. If a bride seems like she's a little more like anxious or worried about things that morning, I just want to make sure that nothing I'm doing is stressing her out. So I'll say like, hey, is it all right if I just move a few things around? And of course, all the time they're just like, yeah, do whatever. The bride's totally chill. I won't even mention it because why bother interrupting her morning again? I'll just do it. And then once she's done her hair and makeup shots, I'll say, did you have a specific area you wanted to get dressed? Now, the only time I feel like the bride actually has a specific area would be if she's getting ready at her parents' home. I know on my wedding day, I really wanted my getting into the dress photos in my bedroom at my parents' home because I love the design of it. It felt like me. So that was really important to me. But if it's in a hotel room, like 90% of the time, the bride is going to be like, no, whatever you think is best. So that's when it's really helpful. During the detail shots, we were thinking about what's an area that I can clear out the surroundings of like water bottles, etc., all makeup brushes, and that has a lot of window light. So I'm thinking I'm clearing that in advance just to speed up the getting ready. I never want my preparations to be the reason why we're running behind or something. So when the bride says that she's ready to get into her dress, I let her know this is a spot I would like you to get changed. And so I want you facing this way. So say the window, there's a big window. I probably want the light coming from the side or her facing the window if there's room for my back to be to the window, if that makes sense. We want as much natural light on the bride as possible. And I'm still working out in my brain, okay, where can I stand? And with my 35 or 50, will there be enough space? So I'm working through all these details before I tell her. And so I'll say, okay, you can stand right there when you're ready. So something to be aware of during this bride's getting ready time is the different levels of modesty that people have. Everybody's personality is different. There are some brides that they'll be out of their robe and into their dress before I even know what's happening, and they're not shy. There's other brides, and I think this is totally fine if you feel this way. That's just like, oh, I'm not just going to whip off my robe in front of like anybody. Like some will just do it in the bathroom like totally by themselves. That's totally fine. I just want to make sure the bride feels comfortable. So I always say, I'm not going to take any pictures until you're ready. So if you would like to put the dress halfway up and then come back out over here, and some brides will be like, yeah, perfect, great, and kind of shut the door. Other ones will be like, okay, and just like take it off anyway. And I just kind of like avert my eyes until she seems ready and kind of tell peripheral vision wise, okay, the dress is halfway up. So once it's halfway up, I'm getting those detail shots of doing up the dress, a few like wide shots with my 35 of the room, a lot with my 50, reactions of bridesmaids maybe watching, the maid of honor doing the dress up, the bride's mom over here, the bride, going back and forth in between all of these things. And once the dress is on and she's ready, the bride's getting ready photos are complete. The only thing that might happen is if we have time, I might do a few portraits just of the bride alone. Honestly, I don't feel like hotel rooms really offer the best setting for this. They're usually quite cramped. I have done getting ready photos in like a totally side room at a beautiful venue that's almost more like a small ballroom, and then absolutely I'd do a few portraits, or if it was at the bride's home and she had a really pretty backyard, I might do a few portraits. It's not something I'm like having to get because I know that I'm going to have a lot of that portrait time later. Same thing with family photos. Sometimes the bride will ask for a few of her and her mom, her and her sister, whatever. That's totally cool. I'll do anything the bride asks for, but it's not something like that's part of my process necessarily. It's just all the things that I did talk about up until getting into the dress, and then photographing candids as we move out of the hotel room, out of the bride's home, and onto either the first look or the ceremony, depending on how the wedding day is structured. So I hope this video really helped you. Just a recap of the different lenses that I would use in the morning. I would be using my 35 and my 50mm for the candid images, and then I would be using my 100 millimeter macro lens for any of the up close detail shots, like the flowers, the rings, invitations, that sort of things. So those are the only three lenses that I would be using, and they'd just be on my side lens bag. I use a shoot sack. You can read a lot more about the lenses I use and the camera bags I use in the free download of my full toolkit. You can find that in a link in the description below. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love if you would subscribe to my channel and stay up to date on this series as we work through week by week the different portions of the wedding day and how you can shoot it to the best of your ability. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day.